the magic bell.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, where we take pride in honoring the first people of Florence, the Siuslaw Indians, who strive to protect our environment where we are today. We give thanks to the tribe, past, present, and future generations. Will you join us? Jeff will be playing, and I welcome you to invite you to stand as we sing our opening hymn, which is called the Spirit of Life. Good morning. Words are on the program. Jeff's got the melody, so sing along, and let's begin our service. Thank you. Myself included, number one, turn off your cell phones or such. I think that's now off. Is that off? It's off. And restrooms, if you've never been here before, the restrooms are back that direction. And please remember, unless you're at the podium here, to remain fully masked. We really appreciate that while we're indoors here at the Senior Center. You're invited to stay after service and share your thoughts with any one of us about today's message, the music, our fellowship. Just stay afterwards and let's continue the loving, shall we? Also, Catherine Heavens, raise your hand, Catherine. Stand and say hello. Say hello. Hello. Catherine offers affirmative prayer for anyone who would like that, and she is in the back area here for a nice private conversation. And inside the program today, you'll see all of our birthdays, upcoming events, and we invite you to check out our website for an extended calendar of events and other parts on the website. We've got past recordings of services that you might be interested in watching, so check out the website. Any update on the remodel, Deborah? Anything you want to share today? You want to come forward?
Keep it clean.
Try not to use any swear words. Sound better?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you haven't been by lately, you should give it a drive-by this afternoon or any time in the evening when all the cars and trucks are cleared out, because the outside of the building is now pretty much done. The landlord chose a new color, some nice off-white, and also touched up the green trim, so it's looking nice and fresh. And yesterday, his handyman, Mike, and I finished cleaning the cedar shakes. They still need to be replaced, but they look okay for now. It's a big improvement over how they looked before.
You were spotted up on the ladder cleaning them. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes, it was quite a chore. It was a multi-day, multi-step process, which ended with me up there scraping moss off with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
It's better now. On the inside, kind of the big construction part is done. The whole interior's been swathed in plastic for the longest time, and the plastic's down now at least. And the drywalling and painting are complete. Looks really nice. The flooring is about 2/3 done. It should be finished tomorrow. It looks great too. And the countertops are being fabricated down at Catherine's house, and they'll be brought in. The cabinets are about halfway installed, so the kitchen is starting to come together. So it's starting to look like a place. And we are planning our grand reopening for the last, an open house on the last Friday in August, and our inaugural service at the new space on the last Sunday in August.
Very nice, very nice.
Looking forward to it.
So Don Gardner, are you here?
Yeah.
Don, will you stand? Don is spearheading our, what we call in the community, the free lunch program on behalf of our fellowship. And starting August 4th, FOOF will be preparing lunch, serving lunch to those who are hungry. So we need, people who can prepare soup, arrive early, set up, meet and greet, serve, and then clean up. It's not a long time to take out of your day on a one Thursday a month. So Don, I know, is looking for dedicated folks who either want to cook, serve, or clean, or all three. Just see him after service if you would. The free lunch program has been around for decades, and we're fortunate to have selected the first Thursday every month to provide this to our community members who might otherwise go hungry on that particular day. So thank you, Don, for your dedicated service to the free lunch program. Thank you. And special thanks to Paula May for being here this morning to help meet and greet. Judy and Ray were also here to meet and greet. I appreciate that very, very much. And do we have anybody here today for the first time? And I know the answer is yes, because I've met Stanley. But if you would like to stand, I'm sorry. Oh, you want to come forward with an announcement?
Oh, yeah. It didn't have to be before that.
Why don't you come to this side so you're not in the camera. Come around this way.
All right.
There you go. All right, we'll get to our visitors in a second.
I'm not camera shy, but yes. Yeah, I see what you mean. So we had a very successful climate resiliency workshop on Thursday night at the fire and rescue station. There were about all told 20 of us. And we went through a number of topics relating to climate change, and specifically with how it affects our own community here on the coast. And we went into overtime. They were waiting to, I had someone waiting there to close down the building. So we probably will, not probably, we'll definitely be having other meetings and activities. And if you would like to be kept informed, kept abreast of those, then please sign up. This is doesn't necessarily commit you to do anything in particular, but just to keep in mind that whatever we do here on climate change affects the rest of the world, and whatever the rest of the world does affects us. So I'll send this around.
Thank you. Thanks for all the work you're doing on that one, Mark. Very much appreciated. So again, anyone here for the first time? I know our new friend Stanley in the back of the room. You want to stand and just say hello?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Stanley. Thank you guys for
Stanley.
inviting me. I'm really excited to be here this morning and to be involved. And this is the first time I've been to a worship, right? Is that what you called it, Sally?
This is worship service.
For 50 years.
This is our fellowship.
But I knew, as soon as I learned about this a couple days ago, I'm like, I want to go. Because we just moved here about 4 months ago, my wife and I, and just wanting to be involved with the community and to serve, and it's great to be here. So thank you for
Karen, would you mind?
I will. I'd be happy.
Stanley, we've got a book for you. It's called Windows to the Soul, and it's a book of haiku meditations that is our compliments from this particular fellowship to you and to Renee, and we hope we see her sometime in the near future. So
She's already volunteered for free lunch.
Yes.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. Thank you. See? Who else wants to volunteer for free lunch? Raise your hand now.
Going twice.
All right, we've got Ann, we've got people in the back. Who's that? Okay, Don, you taking names and numbers? Okay, got it. This is wonderful. So as Deborah hinted, save the date, August 26th. I think that's the last Friday. 4 to 6 p.m. we'll have our grand opening for FOOF and our members and friends and maybe the greater community. We'll see. We'll have a good time. Let's see. Any other announcements?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ask a question.
When we have that celebration there in the new
Yes.
room, can we also go outside, or is the garden now?
The backyard, I believe, is still, shall we say, a storage area of sorts, and it's not really been mowed and kept. But we're gonna probably go out to the front. We'll take over part of the front and maybe the side. Deborah, have you had something else to share on that?
Yeah, actually, the backyard did get mowed last week.
Oh, it did get mowed?
But there is still a big hole back there where
Yeah.
the plumbing was dug up, so
Yeah.
that needs to be.
It'll be fixed, okay?
So maybe within the next 4 weeks, we might be in the back, but
Thank you, Jay.
let's,
We're planning on maybe using the side yard on the south end of the building.
Oh, okay.
To set up the outdoor shed.
oh, because that's a nice little area over there. So the south side of the building, right on the Sea Beach Road.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna mosey outside at some point, okay? Yes, yes, yes. I invite Catherine to come forward, if you would, to light our chalice as I share these words from Catherine Callahan titled, "Let the Chalice Connect Us." As the chalice is lit, let us come together into the sacred space we have created, here at the Senior Center. Let the cares of the day begin to fall away, and know that here is a place for quiet reflection, for a pause in our lives, for breathing into our true selves. Let what is said and felt here add richness to the dimensions of our lives and spiritual practices. We are strong together in community. We share the experience of being human. Let the warmth of the chalice light during our time together connect us and carry us into the world. Blessed be. Catherine.
Sorry, I forgot my reading.
She forgot her notes. It's okay.
She needed the exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
So good to see these tables full. I mean, each week, just a couple more and a couple more. It's wonderful. This is our time for joys and concerns. It's when we take the time and the effort to share either what is, what we need help and support with, or what we're so joyful about and what we've had triumphs, in. Because that's how we get to know each other. That is also how it touches each other's experience, because we are all one and we've all had similar experiences. Is there anyone who would like to share today?
Please come over on this side. Come right over here. There are shells and there's water if you'd like to drop a shell in the water in your chair. And I've got a microphone for you. Right here for you.
It's on.
Okay.
This is just a joy.
Way up here.
So, like this?
Okay, closer.
I have been, I lived most of my life in Germany, and I have had many treatments of osteopathic doctors in Germany. And it always helped me. When I was a teacher, I had a lot of heavy lifting, and I had a sore back. I went into the practice like that on all fours sometimes. I could not walk straight. And these very soft and very knowledgeable manipulations of the osteopaths made me come out like this and feel well. And now, after being in America for 19 years and looking for a working osteopath, I have finally found one. There are many doctors that call themselves DO, Doctor of Osteopathy, but none practice the manipulations. So I just wanted to share that this guy is sitting in Corvallis, and he is worth the 1 hour and 40 minutes of drive, because I had a sore neck since last summer. And he used two sessions, and I came out, and the neck is fine, and my middle back, the middle part of my back is also fine. So this is such a wonderful treatment that I just wanted to share this doctor. Oops, now it's gone. Yeah, there you go. There, okay. If anybody's, no?
Battery.
Carolyn done. If anybody's interested, I share the name gladly. Cordell's.
Valerie's gone.
We all have sore joints.
This is the age.
Okay. As many of you know, we recently got a new dog. His name is Shamrock, and he's adorable.
Ooh.
So, we will bring him to the open house on the last Friday of August as part of his socialization process for you all to meet him and greet him and make him feel comfortable and thank you.
You should take off your mask, Paula, if you want to talk.
I've gone through a difficult couple of years caring for my sweetheart. Yes, you have. Yeah,
There you go.
Hey, step forward.
I've gone through a difficult couple of years caring for my sweetheart, and I lost him just a little over a week ago. And the support of all my food friends has meant so much and helped me so much. I want to say thank you from my heart.
Congrats, Paula. Can I drop a show for Gary? This is for Gary. And this is for Paula.
Put one in for Shamrock.
And one in for Shamrock.
So I have had crappy vision for 60 years. I've been through every contact lens, every RK, every LASIK, everything that left my cornea super scarred. So when you'd come up to me and I'd say, hi, that meant I didn't see you. But I have just had a miracle. There's a thing called scleral lenses that are designed for people with messed up corneas. And I got them on Monday and I can see clearly now.
You're not going to say hi, you're going to say
Hi, Sally.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful.
I just wanted to say that next Saturday is game night. And if you're not on the list, you'll be getting a text. I had to create a whole new group and it was really hard. So I'll get the text out today sometime. But if you're not on the group list and you want to be, we just played, I think we're playing Mexican Train. And maybe 2 Mexican trains, depending on how many people show up. And we just have a great time, yes.
Be sure to tell people to bring 2, because we only have that one Mexican.
Right, so, okay, so bring a Mexican train with you if you're coming. Let me know if I need to add you to the group. We are having a blast. We played Balderdash and had a joke of a time, but it was fun. And we bring snacks. It's at 6 o'clock on Saturday night at the Florentine Clubhouse, and I'll send all those details in the email, or in the text, if you give me your number. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yay.
Put a shot in for fun.
For fun, and this one is for mine here. You know, I was a project manager for most of my career, and I don't think it's an not very respected profession, because it's something that nobody wants to do. It's a term that I used to call project manager, is just another term where you can abuse me. And my thank you is to Deborah, again. It doesn't happen enough, but she's very much appreciated. She puts in way more than any of us can realize into this remodel. Okay, and so that needs to kind of go through the ether there a little bit to help support her in this last stretch. Okay, so thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Jay, that's so true. And when she was spotted, not by me, but I got the message up on that ladder, I was like, oh, great. But thank you. I have one share. Lori Fox, and many of you maybe saw the obituary last week. And I might have mentioned her when she moved up to the care facility up north, but she did pass. And she was a very interesting, delightful person, had many interests in her life. You know, when we get older, sometimes people don't, especially younger people, don't realize what lives we've lived. Really varied and colorful and interesting. So for Lori Fox.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll just finish with, we are worthy, not because of what we produce, but because of who we are. We are divine bodies of light and darkness. You are not worthy because of what you offer, not because of what is on your mind, not for the support you give others, nor for what you give at all. You are worthy and are just whole because in this great turning, in this great pandemic, in this radical readjustment and alignment, we are not disposable, we are needed. And so it is.
And so it is.
Last shell for all the people that we don't know about, the ones that are sitting at home, the ones that are too shy to stand up here, although we're pretty good about that. But there are some, and all those who are just feeling incredible right now, somewhere else, and thinking of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And thank you for those who shared today. Really very special. Paula, I love you dearly. You have a lot of people here right now who are right there for you anytime you need it, okay? We miss Gary. Remember the movie Fried Green Tomatoes? He was a bee charmer. He could charm anybody with his smile and his laugh. So, blessings. So we have a responsive reading today, and it's on your handout. We've got music on one side and the reading on the other. If you'd like to join me in responsive reading, I would appreciate that. We would go deeper.
We would become ourselves we cannot even imagine today.
We would become courageous.
We would grow to delight in congregations filled with different perspectives.
We would know unmutable joy.
We would be filled with gratitude.
May we go deeper.
May our time together open our hearts and sharpen our minds.
May our learning know no end.
May we find the sacred within and around us.
May we see the beauty in each other's faces and smiles.
May we find our way to the depths of our being and there know holiness.
And so it is. So Jeff has selected for us today our opening hymn. It is on the other side of the reading. And Jeff, do we know this particular tune? And are we singing 3 verses, 4 or 5? 3.
3, I think.
3, I think. Because I can't read the ones at the bottom and follow the music at the top.
Oh, no, 4 actually.
4, so you want us to do the 4th.
I can't follow the lyrics when I have to be looking at the music.
Okay, so so the 4th verse is at the bottom, okay? So are you gonna, do we know this tune? You wanna play it an opening for us?
I know it.
Yeah. Come on up here and sing with us. Katie, come on up here and sing.
I don't know it. I don't know it.
Our shelter from the stormy blast and our eternal home.
Okay.
Before the hills they form us into our strength, for earth receive its rain.
Katie, anybody who can sing better than me to come on up here. Katie, I know you said you could do this. I know. No, she says, I know. So today's program is titled A Very, Very, Very Long Time From Now.
I know.
And it's being provided by Reverend Sarah Skochko. She's not here, so how are we going to hear her message? We're going to all turn and look at the TV in a second. We're going to lower the lights. Jay is going to cue this up, but while we're doing that, while you're getting comfortable, Sarah Skochko came to us about 3 years ago. She was studying to be a UU minister in Eugene, and she traveled to Florence often and gave us just unbelievably wonderful, poignant Unitarian Universalist messages. We love Sarah. This is a short message from her that we've had in reserve because we had a speaker today who couldn't be with us. So I hope you enjoy her message today. I think it's quite poignant. I'll share a few of my thoughts afterwards, but before we get this ready to go, we need to turn off the lights and I make sure the volume is good. So give us a second.
In 1993, Sandia National Laboratories released a report about how best to warn humans in the future, the far distant future, like 10,000 years from now, how to warn them not to disturb nuclear waste storage sites when no one is alive anymore who remembers where the nuclear waste was buried. The best known part of that report was a list of things that would have to be communicated in one way or another, though not necessarily in these words. Here's what Sandia proposed. This place is a message and part of a system of messages. Pay attention to it. Sending this message was important to us. We considered ourselves to be a powerful culture. This place is not a place of honor. No highly esteemed deed is commemorated here. Nothing valued is here. What is here was dangerous and repulsive to us. This message is a warning about danger. The danger is in a particular location. It increases toward the center. The center of danger is here, of a particular size and shape, and below us. The danger is still present in your time, as it was in ours. The danger is to the body and it can kill. The form of danger is an emanation of energy. The danger is only unleashed if you substantially disturb this place physically. This place is best shunned and left uninhabited. That warning message, believe it or not, has become something of a cult reference. On Etsy, you can buy signs for your house drawn in the same style as that ubiquitous "In this house we believe" sign, reading instead, "In this house we believe, this place is not a place of honor," and so on. Well, my sister recently bought one because she has a new house, and as I was telling my partner about how funny it is, I realized that he didn't get the reference. So I pulled it up on my phone, pulled up the Wikipedia page, and I explained the situation, and I read that same message out loud to him that I just read to you. The danger is still present, I read, and to my surprise, tears sprung to my eyes. And I found that I couldn't get the words out. The danger is still present in your time, as it was in ours. I'm sorry, I said, all choked up. Remember, I was supposed to be explaining a joke? Are you crying over a hypothetical future nuclear waste storage warning sign? He asked. Yes, I said, I don't know why. Now, I don't need a good reason to cry. I love to cry. I'll tear up over a good sandwich or a bumblebee with a broken wing. I never need a reason. Is it because of the nuclear waste thing, he asked. No, I said, I don't think so. It's just so poignant, I guess, to think about it, to think about people reaching out to each other over such a long span of time. And it was strangely poetic, too, when I thought about it. The danger is still present in your time, as it was in ours. Later, only later, I realized what the phrase reminded me of. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It sounded like a prayer. The kind of prayer that you won't even live to see answered. The kind of prayer that you send out into the nothingness. This is actually not a sermon about nuclear waste. It's about our relationship to time and the poignancy of thinking about where we are in it and what our limitations are, what we will live to see, and what is beyond our knowing. We are living through a historic time, and I know I'm not the only one who's thought, what will people in the future think? What will they say about us? What will the history books say? Most of the time, even in historic times, we spend our days being human, just going about the business of being human, making breakfast, folding socks, going to work and church. We get caught up in what keeps us busy. But it's interesting, I think, that we have spiritual practices designed to change the way we perceive time, if only temporarily. We do mindfulness meditation to more fully ground ourselves in the present moment, as well as to contemplate how small the present moment is in the vast span of time. And this is a religious task. Why? Well, I think that to zoom in or to zoom out on one's own time is to reimagine one's relationship to the divine and the infinite, if nothing else. If you have ever considered how fleeting our time here is in the grand scheme of things, if you too have been overwhelmed with awe by how brief and precious a human life is, you understand why a sense of time is a religious matter. Likewise, if you've ever been so thoroughly grounded in the here and now that you're enlivened by an appreciation of what a significant and weighty thing it is to simply be, then you get it. But in that day-to-day routine, that place where we spend most of our time, it's hard. It's hard for humans to think long-term about time. It's hard and impractical. When I go grocery shopping, I plan for 5 to 7 days, not forever. I say this because I don't want you to come away from this sermon thinking that a human scale of time is somehow flimsy or insufficient in all of its primitive limitations. The human scale of perception is beautiful and unique and generative in its limitations. It serves us well for what we're doing here most of the time. Have you ever seen a Greenland shark? They're terrifying. They live for a very long time in very cold water, just kind of slowly floating around the ocean. No one says, wow, those Greenland sharks need to get a clue how wrong they are about time, spending all their time next to the most boring rock in the ocean, 30 years in one spot before it occurs to them to swim away. No one is criticizing the Greenland sharks for their different scale of time than ours, and we shouldn't criticize ours. But thinking about scales of time that are much bigger or much smaller than the one we're used to can enhance our appreciation of the universe and our place in it, and the Greenland shark's place in it. In many sectors of human society, it just never comes up, right? Walmart isn't stocking their swimsuit section for a 5,000-year season, and the city bus doesn't publish their schedules down to the microsecond. Most sectors of human society are run on a normal human time scale. I think there are 3 realms that are particularly good at imagining very, very long stretches of time, what's known as deep time, if you will. And those are religion, the arts, and a couple of the sciences, particularly astronomy and geology, what's up and what's down. I like to imagine early humans making ochre handprints on cave walls, looking at the ones that were there before they were even born, for thousands of years perhaps, and thinking, how long has all of this been here? And I like to think that today's geologists carry forward that very human activity in their own way. If we think about the 4.55 billion year life of this planet, if we think about that timescale as, say, a birthday cake, with the creation of the earth at the bottom being the plate, and then all the different epochs being layers of the cake, the advent of humans would be represented by a speck of dust that only recently landed on the top of the frosting. Stephen Jay Gould wrote, consider the Earth's history as the old measure of the English yard, which was the distance from the tip of the king's nose to the end of his outstretched fingers. That was 1 yard. One stroke of a nail file, Gould wrote, on his finger erases all of human history. Like staring at that photograph of the Earth as a pale blue dot, it's enough to reconsider how we view our daily affairs here. We gain a sense of humility by considering it. The mathematician John Playfair said, in 1788, upon looking at the geologic strata in rocks, that the mind seemed to grow giddy by looking so far into the abyss of time. When the field of geology was first emerging in the 1700s, there was considerable pushback against what it would imply about the human species. Had God not created the earth solely as a garden for us to harvest? Well, today, as Unitarian Universalists, we don't believe that the earth revolves around us. Rather, we understand ourselves to be a part of the natural world and part of this grand scale of time. It's a perspective that lends itself toward preserving the environment, pushing back against climate change, and yes, safeguarding nuclear waste for the sake of those 10,000 years in the future who will never meet. We don't see the Earth's resources as something to be burned through in the span of a single lifetime. Art, too, can help us enter into a stance of temporal humility. In 1987, the composer John Gage wrote a piece intended to be played on an organ, probably a church organ. Notably, Gage did not specify the speed at which it should be played, except for titling his piece as slow as possible. Well, one group in Germany considered that the physical life of the organ would be the primary limiting factor in how slow the piece could be played, and the organ had been invented about 639 years prior. And so, in 2001, a church in Halberstadt began playing it as slowly as possible. The piece is scheduled to last 639 years, ending in the year 2640. The last note change was last September. The next note should be played sometime in 2022. One author wrote, Halberstadt itself was transformed into a structure both of time and space, pointing simultaneously backward and forward as time is manifested in both directions. As slow as possible is not the only long-form musical piece being played right now. Jen Finner's Long Player can be heard both online and at numerous places around the world, physical places. And that piece isn't set to wrap up for nearly another 1,000 years. When I despair about the narrow-mindedness of corporations monetizing every physical material on Earth that they can manage in less than a generation, I remember that somewhere on this planet, there's always a 1,000-year song playing to remind us that time will continue to exist beyond stock portfolios. I remember that corporations aren't people, and people are fantastic, enduringly so. Somewhere still, there are handprints on a cave wall reminding us of who is here and reminding us that someday we too will only be our handprints. Somewhere, there are people working on warning messages to the future to warn people, beloved strangers, that they will never meet. The same way calloused hands will place new date palms into the earth, knowing that they themselves will never taste the fruit. Our time here is precious, and so are we. Amen and blessed be.
Share a nice musical interlude while we can go into quiet reflection. But before that, I just want to share with you, I love Sarah Skochko's messages because she tugs at our Unitarian Universalist heartstrings. The message today reminds me, as she said, about trees planted today. It's not for our shade today or the fruit today. It's for that's going to happen decades from now. Her message reminds me of Jay Goodwin, who was one person in Florence 2 decades ago who put an ad in the paper that said, "I'm a Unitarian Universalist. Anybody want to join me?" Before that, he was meeting at their homes. Paula was there. They were doing potlucks. They met at coffee shops, all these different locations. And finally, we settled on our space at Highway 101 and the Cedar Beach Road, where it is now being lovingly renovated. We grew, and we've renovated. We grew, and we enhanced the space. We grew because what we offered was community. And I dare say this, in spite of the stained carpeting, in spite of the cobwebs, in spite of the artwork that doesn't match, we grew. People to continue to come through our front doors, not to see the interior of our building, which is extraordinary, but to experience the interior of our hearts. If we continue along that path into the future, we will be able to survive whatever comes our way. Our time is precious, and so are we. So as we enter into silent meditation with Jeff's music, I ask you to reflect on the notion that we, you and I, and others after us, can and will have a lasting impact on this planet. What will it look like? I don't know. But let's try to leave a lasting legacy, shall we? So I ask you to get relaxed. I'm going to turn off the lights again. And Jeff's going to play a beautiful musical interlude. So relax and think about our future together. Jeff?
This is called Dreams of Long Ago. It actually sort of goes in the opposite direction. I think for most of us, you think of much earlier in your own lives. We could also be thinking of lives before this one.
Yes. community partner for this month and next is an organization called Food Backpacks for Kids. And it's an organization that assembles these backpacks filled with food on Fridays and gives them to the kids who can take them home and have something to eat over the weekend where they might not have food or the ability to have a decent meal or two. So we raised money this month and next to help support Food Backpacks for Kids. We also ask for donations to this particular fellowship. If you're not making a pledge payment, maybe you want to make a donation to our particular fellowship. And I asked Karen if she'd like to come forward and pass this basket around. It's not easy to pass it, so she'll kind of walk around with it. We also have receipts in the center section if you'd like to take a receipt for your donation today. Jeff's going to play some music as we go forth, but before that I ask that you repeat after me. Divine love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am,
Blesses and multiplies all that I am,
all that I give,
and
all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now.
Thank you. Jeff? Thank you for your spiritual practice of giving and loving. Your contributions are received in grateful appreciation. Catherine, would you like to come forward and help me extinguish the chalice? She's so good. Remember, she's available for anybody who wishes affirmative prayer later. These words come from Maureen Killoran. As we extinguish this flame, sooner than later. There we go. May we know this ending as more than a time of goodbye. May the warmth of this community and the memory of our chalice flame sustain our hearts and encourage our minds as we engage the blessings of life's challenges and joys. The service has ended. Your service has begun. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love. We end, thank you. We end our service by singing the peace song. The words are on the back of your program. We're going to gather in a big circle around the chairs. We're going to hold hands or lock arms as best we can. Jeff will join us. He'll get it queued up. So tighten that circle and let's sing the peace song. And remember to stick around afterwards. Have some good conversation with one another. We really enjoy that. Thank you. Jeff's gonna come in too. All right, Jeff. Save Jeff a spot, right between Catherine and Julia. How's that?